What's up, everybody? Time for my little talk today. I wanted to talk about a little program that I'm working through right now. At least it's a philosophy for setting goals. It's an interesting idea. You know, a lot of times I know I maybe set certain goals, but then didn't consistently follow through on the completion of those goals. And if you think about the whole, self-development, personal growth, all that stuff, everyone's always talking about goals and trying to hit the goals, and it's hard. Most of the time people hit goals, they don't hit them. Most of the time people set goals, they don't hit them. Is that what I said? And so, some material I'm working through right now that encourages being very specific. I mean, a lot of people talk about what's your why. Why is this goal important to you? But this teacher talks about fleshing that out even deeper, because there's different levels of why, right? He splits it up into 3 different levels. The top level is your highest self, your highest purpose. That's the most, let's say, spiritually significant motivation to hit a goal. Right? So if your goal is to lose weight, what is the highest motivation for wanting to lose weight? You can talk about your body as a vessel for the spirit. So you want your body to be in optimal health, to be an optimal vessel for the spirit. A higher order motivation might be to inspire other people. Things like that. So that's the top, right? What are your higher order motivations? And then what are your day-to-day motivations, right? So what would a day-to-day motivation be to lose weight? Again, you want to just have more energy. You want to be able to go up and down the stairs with ease. You don't want to, lose your breath if you have to carry something. You want to be strong to be able to pick up your kids, things like that. Like, what is your day-to-day motivation? How would your day-to-day life be better from hitting that goal? A lot of people have that. And then, what's your lowest motivation? And this is the most interesting. Maybe it's not the most interesting, but it's interesting to think about it, because we all have these, but your lowest motivation is like, what is your pettiest reason? You want to lose weight to prove to your ex that, they made a mistake breaking up with you or something like that. Or to get back at the bully who made fun of you in 7th grade and called you fat, whatever it was. And, a lot of times in spiritual growth type of things, they want you to let go of all that petty stuff. And you certainly shouldn't live in pettiness, and that should not be your top priority, being motivated. But at the end of the day, we're all human. And those hurt feelings are there. So you're better off acknowledging them and be like, yeah, I do want to lose weight, so that maybe my ex will see pictures of me on Facebook and think, damn, I fucked up. Right? You don't want to live there, but you want to acknowledge it and at least utilize it, because it is there, right? So that was just an interesting little thing that I learned today, which is really what I'm going to be talking about in most of these YouTube videos. What is there a lesson that I learned today? Is there something that speaks to me? And I guess that was the biggest thing, is kind of going through that. And again, you have your 3 levels of motivation. You want to stay, ideally, you want to stay at the top, right? Your highest order motives. You know, that's got the most substance to it. And then your day to day as well. Obviously, it comes to daily convenience. So you want to think about those the most, but, you know, acknowledge the ways that you are petty and use it to your advantage. The next step after you have those 3 different levels is to associate the feelings, the emotions connected to each one of them, right? So how would it feel to be the person who lost weight and it became an inspiration for dozens of other people to lose weight, right? Wouldn't that feel great? Wouldn't it feel great to walk around day to day, see yourself in the mirror, and love what you look like, and be able to pick things up and get up and down the stairs and all that stuff? And yeah, wouldn't it feel great for an ex or a former bully to see what you look like after you hit your goals, right? So clarify those and then internalize the feelings of all 3 levels. And the final step is, what's the flip side? Right? So what does it look like if you don't hit those goals? How does that affect your higher order, higher level purpose? You know, rather than being an inspiration, you know, people kind of look past you. They don't really respect you. Day to day, again, you're losing your breath. You can't really chase after your kids if you have kids. Your day-to-day tasks are just physically more difficult. You don't have the energy. And then imagine your ex looking at you and be like, yeah, thank God I broke up with that person. Look at how, you know, they're not really doing anything. And then now you have your carrots and your sticks. You have your thing to move towards, and you have the contrast. You have what does it look like and feel like for those things to not happen. And you visit that on a regular basis and use that for motivation. So, I don't know. That's what I've learned today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.